What is going on, peoples and fellow fan duelers? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I probably won't be doing no video later this week, so let me get my Happy New Year's out the way right now. So, hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. For my fan duelers, hope you had a very productive and profitable holiday weekend. Let's get right into it. Week 17 preview of Grade A Fantasy. And what's the most important thing that maybe some of y'all don't know, or maybe you didn't even check the slate yet? It was the first thing that I took note of. So, bye weeks are all done. So everybody's back playing. You're gonna get your Thursdays or whatever. Most importantly, it's back on Sunday. So no need to hurry up and get the thing get your weekend adjusted and try to do this and try to do that, whatever the case is. We're back to Sunday slate. We're back to the regular schedule. And what I mean by regular schedule, Thursday, you know, there's no Cowboys, so no shooting Cowboys defense, no Derrick Henry because they're playing the Titans. We'll just get out the way. No Zeke, no Pollard, no CD Lamb, whatever. The the big thing that you have to worry about is this. There's only two games that I'm going to talk about that's not on the schedule. Normally there's three, sometimes four. The two other teams that are not on the schedule for FanDuel, unfortunately, which is the game of the week. I can't wait for this. Sucks that we got to wait till Monday for this, day after New Year's. We have the Bengals at home hosting the Bills. So that means no Josh Allen, no Burrow, no Singletary, no Diggs, no Chase, no Higgins, no Mixon, no streaming Buffalo defense, no Gabe Davis, no Tyler Boyd, no McKenzie. Like, that game is going to be good when you just hear the name fantasy wise. I actually might play that single game. We'll see. But here's the interesting thing, FanDuelers. Now, I do not know what DraftKings did. I have really played DraftKings. Normally, I bounce back and forth. I've been focusing mainly on FanDuel. I'm looking at all these games here, and what you have left after what I told you what's not going to be on the schedule is typically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I count about 14 games right there. So when I click Sunday main slate, well, it's in my contest too. If you didn't pay attention, if you just hit click, this is why you gotta look. You gotta strategize. This is the first slate that is programmed into FanDuel, where every game on Sunday is on the slate. So that means yes, the 8:20 game is on the slate, which means you're gonna be sweating out a whole day of football, not just from 1 to 7:30. You'll be sweating it out all the way to 11 o'clock. And that last game is not too pretty, so who knows? That game is most likely going to go very low, especially if Lamar's not in the game, and with both defenses in, which should be this weekend decently, played weather. It's not going to be like last weekend where you got to worry about the weather. They actually got Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I'm looking right at it, fellas. All the 1 o'clock games, and you got Pittsburgh and Baltimore 8:20. They got all the games on the slate. So let's get right into the preview. So not only are we back to Sunday, not only are the bye weeks over or the extra Saturday games and all that. No, this week there are no Saturday games. Straight Thursday, Monday, and they included all of Sunday. It's not an all Sunday slate. This is the main slate for the schedule. So let's get right into it. And how do we do it? As always, we do priority first, where we select all on the available players list. Available players is The available players list is we have Christian McCaffrey first. Shit, there's two running backs up top first. So we'll go there. We'll go running back. Okay, so he had somewhat of a tough matchup last week. I have no problem going back to Christian McCaffrey. The only thing good about Christian McCaffrey, he didn't have a good game last week, so I think he was 98. Was he 98 or 94? Something like that. But whatever the case is, he still had a decent price of 95. Last week, you was hoping he caught the ball more because Washington does have I've told you all year, good run defense. It's the passing attack. It's the passing defense that is very suspect. And In 15 carries, he couldn't really do much against that front line, and only got 2 targets out of the backfield. So a little concerning there, but he should be able to have a better running performance against the Las Vegas Raiders. 9,500. I have no problem going back to McCaffrey, especially in this matchup, because he'll be able to run against the Raiders, and then the icing on the cake is whatever reception he get out of the backfield. Plus, that game was a big game script. Later on in the day, yes, Redskins did play. I was paying attention to the game because I had McCaffrey last week, and I was paying attention to the game, and there were times they stifled him most of the game, pretty much all the game. But in the second half, the turnovers took it over. So even if they did give it to him 20 something times, he wasn't playing with a full field. He wasn't going to get the yardage. The second half, they forced a lot of turnovers last week. I did watch that game. So that's a little bit of game script. So no worry about McCaffrey. It was game scripted out that way. The defense took over. I think the last 2 to 3 possessions of the game for the 49ers took place inside the 40 or maybe even the 38-yard line. Then they went from there. Because toward the end of the game, they kicked 2 field goals, and then McCaffrey got a 1-yard goal line touch. So that's how that worked. Saquon Barkley against Indianapolis. I like this matchup, even though Indy, is the defense does play up to their strengths and everything, but Saquon at home, Giants need a win to solidify the playoffs. Look for Saquon to milk it. Look for Saquon to milk it. 9,200. Look for Saquon 30 touches minimum. I'm talking about 22 carries, 23 carries, and 6 to 8 receptions. Other players that I like this week. Hey, man, you heard me talk about this guy from the beginning of the season. I love when Dalvin Cook, he always has one breakout. It always happens. I will be on Dalvin Cook. Dalvin always has like a one game a year against Green Bay out of the 2 that he just dominates. Dalvin needs Dalvin. They're going to need Dalvin, even though they're going to have Jefferson. They're going to need Dalvin to just be that extra weapon, because right now Green Bay is playing some good team football. The defense is playing well. The offense is playing well. On the road, a little bit of a tough matchup. Not the toughest matchup, but a little bit of a tough matchup. Even though you can run the ball in Green Bay, but hey, the defense is playing well. Dalvin Cook normally has that one breakout game against Green Bay every year. Earlier this year, a little bit bottled up, but he got a lot of touches. 20 carries for 90 yards, 5 targets for 3 receptions, 18 yards, only 12.3 points. He gets a touchdown. That's fine for 8,300. If he gets those touches, that exact touch, but then gets a touchdown on top of that, he's looking at a 20-point day, 8,300. Doesn't mean total value is at 9,300, but 8,300 to pay down for McCaffrey and Barkley. Yeah, I like that. Trust me, he has that history. Other good matchups that are good. If you want to get a little cheaper, 8,000 even. James Conner looking real good. Obviously with Kyler Murray out, you will tend to lean on him. Atlanta's a very suspect run defense. Yes, Atlanta's at home, meaning James Conner's on the road, but James Conner will be getting a lot of touches, and he gets a lot of value. He's still getting a lot of volume out the backfield. For 8,000 even, the last 2 weeks since Kyler Murray hasn't been there, 16 rush attempts, 15 rush attempts for 63 and 71 yards. He has 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, and he's gotten 8 and 5 targets in the last 2 weeks. 13. He pretty much got 13 targets, 10 receptions. Pretty much that's about 70 yards, no receiving touchdowns. But he is averaging about 17.9 again the last 2 weeks. Why not go to James Conner? He's gonna get the volume. I like him as well. We keep going. Other good plays. Hey, man, probably the best play, and I think he's going to be chalk all over for that price. He's going to look amazing. Travis Etienne against the worst rush defense. Travis Etienne is 7,700. I think he's there for the GPPs. I think he's there for cash games. I'm talking about the 50-50s, the double-ups, non-experienced, whatever contest. Travis Etienne, like I said, I don't have my own projections. I don't have any, but I damn sure got some common sense. So I've had a very, very good November to December in fantasy football, productive wise, and I'm positive ROI. If I'm going to take an educated guess, even as big, this is the biggest the slate has been in maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Travis Etienne, even though with all the spread out ownership, Travis Etienne, without a doubt, the lowest his projection should be is 27% ownership. And then I think Travis Etienne is looking at 30% ownership, the fact that he's in the 7,000. If it was 8,000, I mean, they're still going to force him in. But if it was 8,000 high, you're looking at maybe a 27%, 28%. But the fact that he's 7,700, Travis Etienne is probably going to be the most owned player on this league. You're going to have to look at injury news, because if he's ruled out, holy smoke, is A.J. Dillon going to be the man? A.J. Dillon just a little bit below Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is 7,600, but questionable with an ankle. A.J. Dillon is a few spots below him at 7,200. So either one of those guys will be good against a suspect defense out there in the cold. Green Bay definitely does have the advantage. I definitely like Green. I like Green Bay to push Minnesota and might even win that game. But fantasy-wise, I definitely like those two as options. David Montgomery's an option. Um, the wide receiver core has been beaten up with injuries. Multiple rulouts for Chicago. Um, man, if the wide receiver core is banged up again, Montgomery in a dome, and I think Khalil Herbert just came back. Look for them to have their own two-headed monster. David Montgomery is 7,500 at Detroit. Other nice matchups that I like. Let's go to the opposite side of that. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift going against a bad Chicago defense in the dome, 7,100. Don't be surprised if people leave the higher running backs and go for 7,700 and 10 and 7,100 Swift. Yes, he hasn't been the most impressive, but when you think about this weekend's matchup, there's no reason why not to go. Rushing wise, he's probably let you down, but DeAndre Swift has gotten 5, 9, 4, 6, and 8 targets out the backfield in the last 5 weeks. He may not be getting the runs, and yeah, y'all probably scared of Jamal Williams with the vultures, but he's getting the receptions. FanDuel receptions don't mean as much as DraftKings receptions, but that extra 0.5 could mean something down the line. Other matchups that I like, hey, why not Leonard Fournette against Carolina, 7,000 even. Hey, they gotta just knock out something. They gotta play to just have a solid win and have some momentum going into the playoffs. Tampa Bay is probably one of the ugliest looking playoff teams out there right now. What else? What else do we have here? You know what's funny? Even though they're on the road and then they're playing against the Giants defense, like I said, Giants, when it comes to the two New York teams, Giants defense, not the New York Jet defense, but playing at home, Giants defense does play solid. But if you want a cheap option, who's taking over the leadership since Jonathan Taylor? Zach Moss. Zach Moss, yeah, he hasn't gotten to the end zone. But guess what? If he gets into the end zone against the Giants, he definitely goes above his salary expectations. Sorry, Matt Savoca. 6,900 in the last 2 weeks since John Taylor's been out. 24 carries, 12 carries. Not getting work out the backfield. And yes, the Los Angeles Chargers game was ugly. But Zach Moss is getting work. He is the man in Indianapolis. And even in other games, 8.1, 7.5. All he needs is that one touchdown to meet that expectation of 6,900. Don't forget about Zach Moss. And as we continue, somebody that I think is a nice bounce back option. Look here, man. Had an ugly week. He's at home. I think they're going to purposely give him the ball, especially even more to save the shoulder of Jalen Hurts if he plays, because Jalen Hurts is trying to play. They're trying to clinch, and they're trying to clinch. So if they clinch home field right away, if they can clinch home field, then that's pretty much giving Jalen Hurts 2 weeks of rest, because only the top seed gets. Just understand the logic here. If you clinch the top seed, you're the only team that's getting the week off. Jalen Hurts, who could be the MVP this year, needs that extra week for his shoulder. The man has a shoulder strain, so plus taking a pounding on it. Look for Miles Sanders. I go back to Miles Sanders. This is one of those like, oh, he stunk, whatever, and then a lot of people are going to drop him. Go back to Miles Sanders, plus he's 6,800. 6,800. There's probably people that's around this price that people probably want to go to. You could even go maybe a little bit because he gets carries out the backfield with Fournette. Rashad White. Rashad White is the same price as Miles Sanders, probably with a better matchup at home, better weather, Carolina. Jerick McKinnon, 6,800, home against Denver. Tyler Algier, Arizona, beaten up, broken down defense or whatever. Atlanta just there to play to check to see what talent they have. 6,700. Tyler Algier is a sneaky play. I like that one. And other plays that I like, I mean, as I scroll down, Jamal Williams dealing with a leg issue. He's questionable. If he's ruled out, then Devon, uh, Swift. Swift is probably going to get more ownership than Travis Etienne because I think Swift, if I remember properly, Swift is cheaper than Etienne. Yeah, he is. Swift is cheaper than Etienne by $500, $600 to be exact. So Jamal Williams gets ruled out. Hey, pay attention to that news. Anything else that interests me like that? Anything else? Anything else? Nope, nope, nope. Let's keep on going. And we'll go to wide receiver, and then we'll go to quarterback. Wide receiver plays. Once again, he's right up there for fantasy MVP. I love the man. Justin Jefferson, 9,200. At Green Bay, yes, it's out there in the cold, but he's gonna get those targets. They're trying to catch Philly, so they really want to see if they can get home field. They have a lot to fight for. Plus, it's a division rivalry game. Double emphasis. Justin Jefferson is still a hot play. Tyreek Hill. Tough matchup against New England. Why do I stop? Because maybe that projection of Tyreek Hill being a good play changes. And I got a feeling I might stay away from Tyreek Hill. Maybe have a few pieces of Jalen Waddle. It's his third time in concussion protocol. I don't think I personally don't think he plays. I don't think Tua Tagovailoa plays. He doesn't play. You got to drop Tyreek Hill down a bit, but it is a good match against New England because they're weaker against the pass than they are against the run. So take it for as you will. Definitely one of those. I'm just going based on it's Tuesday. The slate is Sunday. It's not even like last week where you had 1 day short of recovery or whatever the case is, or 1 day shorter to pass. If the slate was Saturday, I guarantee I would have said, hell no, he's not playing. The fact that he has one more day, I think you have up to maybe Saturday night or early that morning before pregame, before warm-ups. Because obviously they don't want nothing to happen to you during warm-ups if they feel like you're still in the concussion protocol. So I think he has before the warm-up. So I got a feeling with that coach, he's gonna we probably won't have Tua ruled out to maybe Sunday morning. My educated guess. Devontae Adams, 8,500 against San Francisco. You're not running against San Francisco, so you better pass. I like AJ Brown. Whether it's Minshew or Jalen Hurts, but I like Philly wide receivers against New Orleans at home, 8,400. Amon-Ra St. Brown against Chicago, 8,200. He's definitely due for a bounce back. DeAndre Hopkins is definitely due for a bounce back. I just feel more confident if it was, instead of Trey McSorley, I would definitely feel more confident it was Kyler Murray. Definitely one of the worst secondaries in the league, 8,100. Can you still take chances there? Of course you can. Of course. DeAndre Hopkins runs deeps, mid slants, quick slants, button hooks. He does it all. Kind of like how I told everybody last week about how Metcalf was going to get different arrays of like targets and everything. That's exactly what's going to happen with DeAndre Hopkins. If I like AJ Brown, I'm definitely going to like Devontae Smith. He definitely helped me cash last week, and luckily, the one Philly stack that I did, I went Minshew, Devontae Smith, and Devontae Smith definitely capitalized last week. So I will definitely go back to him. Like I said, with the backup, I would definitely like Jalen Waddle because Jalen Waddle is more of the slant. Jalen Waddle definitely more of the slant and short possession guy with the capability of busting out a big play. So Jalen Waddle will be my preferable target, 7,700. But like I said, let's see if Tua plays. Chris Godwin's another good target, 76. He just gets a lot of targets. As bad as Tampa Bay has looked, and with his partner Mike Evans, 7,500. But Chris Godwin, I mean, when I say he gets targets, like Brady is just literally like constantly throwing him the ball. The last 5 weeks, I'm not even going to tell you the stats, okay? Targets, opportunity here. For 7,600, I will pay for this for 7,600. Last 5 weeks, and this is targets. 10, 8, 9, 13, 13. If you want me to keep going back to like early November, December, then it's 8, 10, 11. Why not go to him? You will feel comfortable at 7,600. Hey, I think he's going to go low owned. I will definitely have pieces of him. The opportunity is there. Yes, I do talk about, how Metcalf and Lockett, how I'll go Lockett because of the more boom aspect. But the volume that he consistently gets, it's not like he goes 7, 8, 9, then dips to 4. No, it is consistently in the high up single digits, and then it gets into the teens or whatever with Chris Godwin. So you have to believe in Chris Godwin. Be comfortable with Chris Godwin. Just understand that get rid of your bias of not liking Brady and how ugly Tampa Bay looks. And the fantasy aspect, Chris Godwin is always a solid fantasy play. You're just looking for him to boom and get more touchdowns. But sometimes he just gets to his floor or above the floor without the touchdown. So imagine if he gets a touchdown this week. Give Chris Godwin a chance. 7,600. 7,600. Give Chris Godwin a chance. It's not like his PR rep. Let me see. Who else do I like here? I mean, they're at home. They're fighting for a playoff spot, division game. He's just been electric ever since he's just been, for the past 5 weeks. Christian Watson, 7,600. Seems to be Aaron Rodgers' favorite target right now. Other nice matchups. Even though they're on the road, he has Zach Wilson. He doesn't have Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson got benched, but Garrett Wilson now has Mike White. So definitely look for Garrett Wilson to pick it up against that Seattle defense. But I have warned y'all, that Seattle defense, even though it's not the best, it's improved over the season, and it has always played better at home. I have told you that. That's why there was a couple weeks there were some of my best paying options. Just remember that. What else? What else do we have here? If he could shake off the rust, Amari Cooper against a suspect Washington defense. I don't like the Washington secondary. Amari Cooper 71. DJ Moore. DJ Moore is an even 7,000 against Tampa Bay secondary. Once again, hopefully if you can get it to these guys, Marquise Brown is 69. 6,900 against Atlanta. Wow. That's just crazy. But like I said, part of that is how bad they've been playing, and it's the quarterback play. That's the reason why he's down there. That sounds like a steal, though. It does sound like Marquise Brown. Come on, man. Come on. I don't even have to entertain that. Christian Kirk, 6,900 at Houston. Jacksonville's fine for a playoff spot. What else we got here? Deontay Johnson. Like I said, it's Pittsburgh and Baltimore's that secondary is suspect due to big plays. Deontay Johnson, 6,600. You can use him to close out your night. Brandon Ayuk for 6,600 has a nice repertoire with the new quarterback Purdy. Brandon Cooks once again. Hey man, he barely got there. He bailed me out last week. Met his expectation at 6,400. Last week he was 6,500. He's $100 cheaper. I fuck with Brandon Cooks. Can you find value that probably do better than him? Yeah, but it's the same thing with the targets. He's the man when it comes to targets. I'm always going to take chances on Brandon Cooks. I would say it's 50-50 that he's done his thing, and then, I wouldn't say burn me. Burn me is like he's only scoring 3 points. There's times where he gets his carry, he just won't get the touchdown. He just gets too many targets to, give you that 3 or 4 points. But he's worth what his salary is. He's consistently been in the mid to low sixes all year, and he's giving you points of mid to low sixes. It's just a case of can he boom it. Other options. You can also go Alan Lazard for 6,200. Johan Dotson for 6,100 against Cleveland. George Pickens against that Baltimore secondary. He's 61. Does Tyler Lockett come back? He has a hand issue. The only thing is they're at home going against the Jets defense. But Tyler Lockett at 6,000, I'm gonna take some chances. You got DJ Chalk. The reason why I gotta bring up DJ Chalk, because yes, I had him in lineup last week, and now you have to realize Amon-Ra St. Brown is like the Swiss Army knife. He runs almost every route. He just doesn't run that many deep routes. DJ Chalk, he's their deep route, and he took that one pass deep. All of a sudden, he was like 3 for 36, and all of a sudden 4 for 80 for a touchdown. DJ Chalk is, if you haven't been paying attention for the past 3 weeks, ever since he came back off injury, I don't know what you're doing. I've watched some Lions game. He is the deep threat target for the Lions there at home against Chicago. I will be taking chances with DJ Shark at 6,000. He's one of those that I'm putting stamp of approval on. If you haven't been paying attention, just look at the stats. Not that many targets as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the way better play. But you know me. You want cheap, boom opportunity? DJ Chalk, 6,000 at home, in the dome, away from the weather, bad Chicago defense. 5 for 90, 5 for 90, one touchdown. Book it. Anything else that I like to talk about? Anything else? Anything else? No, I don't think so. So we can move on. I'm not really talking about. I haven't really. Well, is there anybody like low, like really low that I like? Is there anybody low that I like? No, there isn't. There really isn't. QBs. And while that loads up, let me just check something real fast, fellas. Um, just moving some stuff around here. Okay. All right. This looks all right. Okay. This looks okay. This is fine. All right. All right. Let's get the QB and then we'll knock out tight end and defense. All right. 9,000 even. Patrick Mahomes against Denver. Why the fuck not? Yes, Denver is going to cause Mahomes some problems with him. Mahomes will find a way to meet his value. Jalen Hurts is a big question mark, 8,800 with that shoulder. You got to watch him. I like Justin Fields this week because if he's forced to run that ball, he's in way better condition to do so. He may be on the road, but guess what? He's in the dome. So 8,400 against the Detroit defense, easy one-off. I would not be stacking Justin Fields. If I have Justin Fields in my lineup, he will be by his goddamn mother self. And yeah, that's how I'm playing Justin Fields. I'm letting you know how I'm playing Justin Fields. Lamar Jackson is another injury, PCL, that knee and PCL ligament. I don't know if he's going to play, but gotta wait for the news. He's another one that the recovery, it's around his recovery time to come back, but I don't know if he does. Trevor Lawrence against Houston. That's a very good matchup for Trevor Lawrence. He's hot. He's probably one of the hottest fantasy QBs right now, 7,800 on the road. Like I said, I don't think Tua plays. Concussion protocol, 7,700. Other good plays, like I said, I like Gardner Minshew at home against a defense like New Orleans. I think Minshew played well. Had a couple of takeaways, turnovers, whatever, but for 7,500 against this defense, yeah, I'll definitely do it. He had 24.7 against the Cowboys, so I'm definitely taking Minshew. That day probably comes closer to a 30-point game without the 2 turnovers. Just saying. I will have some Minshew stacks in public leagues for sure. And then, of course, you go a little bit lower. Jared Goff, 7,400. Like I said, at home against that bad Chicago defense. Daniel Jones looks pretty good at home against just a battered and broken Indianapolis team. They're gonna throw their best at him, but like I said, he's still liable to play. And he's a good fantasy option. Tom Brady, I know you don't like him, but I'll be picking him for fantasy. He'll probably be good for me for a nice 7,200. Like I said, sorry about that. Daniel Jones 7,300. Tom Brady against Carolina and Tom Brady at home. Yes, I will still take my chances with Brady and Rodgers in the cold against Minnesota. He might game manage that game. I won't have too much of Aaron Rodgers because I think the running backs will take that over. Aaron Rodgers will make his big plays here. I think the biggest play here will probably be the Green Bay defense. I think they could turn over Cousins a few times. Cousins will be gunning that ball, looking for Justin Jefferson. So my favorite play actually in that game is Dalvin Cook for Minnesota. But for the Packers, it's actually the running backs and the defense. I mean, like I said, it's not the best matchup because that defense does travel well. But if you want to go narrative, but as good as this narrative is, I don't think I'll be touching Geno Smith at home against his former team. I don't think I'll be doing it. It's an interesting narrative, but I won't be doing it. But right under him 7,100 Geno Smith, 7,000 Mike White, cleared to play in Seattle. I actually like that. That's actually very interesting. And hey, if you wanna, try something, I'm not gonna lie. You know why it sounds? If there's, to help you knock off some rust, or at least have him reach his value, maybe scramble a bit, one touchdown for mid 200 yard level. If Deshaun Watson could run for some yardage, throw for maybe 250, and throw a TD pass, he meets his value at 6,700. You've heard me talk about Washington defense all year. If he can pass and scramble a bit, he meets his value, and who else knows whatever the hell you can do with the rest of your lineup at the 6,700. Obviously, Deshaun Watson. What's the first thing I'm thinking of? I am stacking with Amari Cooper in this game. That's for sure. I will be stacking with Amari Cooper in this game. And if not that, it's one or the other. Will I double stack? No. I will not double stack. Not with Deshaun Watson. I can't trust him to do that yet. Yes, doing lineups like that, things that are uncomfortable or sometimes what's better for fantasy, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion of what I would do. 6,700 Deshaun Watson against a passable defense. I would do just a single stack. I wouldn't do him. I wouldn't have him, Peoples and Njoku, or him and Amari and Peoples, or him and Amari and Njoku. I would not do that. If you're doing that, then I'll have one or the other. And you probably might like him and Njoku because him and Njoku is real cheap, and who knows what else you can do with that lineup or whatever. Njoku this week. Oh, and that's a nice segue because I just finished quarterback. We're going to tight end. Njoku this week is 5,600. That's a cheap stack. So you can definitely pay up. You can definitely pay up for running back and so on and so forth. As we keep going. Once again, okay, so now this week that gap is not as big. Travis Kelce at 83, home against Denver. George Kittle is now the next tight end next to him, only 900. There's been weeks where George Kittle has been damn near 1,500, 2,000 away from the next tight end. Hawkinson had a great week. He was the ultimate chalk. He jumped from 6. They jumped him up a full $7,000 against Green Bay. Taysom Hill might be needed again against Philly, 6,800, but that's for tournament plays. I'm not playing him in any 50-50 cash games or anything like that. What else do we have here? I mean, he's been playing well. Consistent target. Dallas Goedert. I said Dallas Goedert. No, right below him, 5,800. Evan Ingram seems like it's a pay. I'm not really favoring too much of the pay-up options. I like the pay-down options for tight end, which is normally what tight end is. Because if you're not going for Kelce, if you're not going for Andrews, you're pretty much paying down. Always like Jawan Johnson because he's always a red zone target at 5,700. You got like Pat Frymouth. This is his kind of game against Baltimore, 5,700. He paid off for me when he came back at 5,000. He caught his touchdown. Yes, it's a tough match against San Francisco, but upside of Darren Waller, yes. For a team trying to fight for a playoff, yes. Darren Waller, 5,500. Dolchich against Kansas City, they'll be throwing the ball, but he has a little bit of a hamstring issue, so pay attention to that. Other than that, yes, I know people like Cole Kmet. I'm not stacking, but if you want to stack him with Justin Fields, go ahead. That's one of the shade targets. It's a nice target to have, once again, in a dome, so conditions are favorable. Hey, man, this is one of those cold days where he might look for this guy. He hasn't been looking for him much, but if there's a time to pick him, Robert Tonyan, 5,100. And is there anybody else that you really want to go down and look for? Tyler Conklin with Mike White back, 4,900 against Seattle. Seattle's one of the worst against tight ends, so sounds like a good pick. And hey, 4,700 Daniel Bellinger. Just giving you all the low picks. You want to go down value. Tight end is definitely one of those positions every year. If you're not going for the very top, sometimes not even for the top 2 or 3. There's weeks that if you're just not going Kelce, just pay down because sometimes it doesn't make no sense to even go for the 67 or 6,000 guy. I've done it. It's paid off for me with the Hawkinsons and stuff like that. But yeah, most of the year, if I haven't gone Kelce, I've skipped Andrews and I've gone value tight end. Like one of my best plays, I remember One of my best calls, I think, in Joker was out, and I think he scored Harrison Bryant for Cleveland. It was a few weeks ago. Harrison Bryant, I think he scored the first touchdown of the whole slate. So things like that. 4,700 on FanDuel. The quick tight end, little flat against the goal line. You don't gotta do nothing else. Everything else is icing on the cake. Let's go to what I like to talk about most: defense. Is there anybody over the threshold? No. But who I thought was going to be number one or at least a little higher kind of shocked me. San Francisco's number one, 5,000 against Las Vegas. Number two, Seattle, home against the Jets, 4,800. I totally understand that. You're probably like, wait, but Mike White is starting. Shouldn't they be a little lower? I keep telling y'all, they know what I see. FanDuel knows that Seattle plays better at home. If this is on the road, Seattle's somewhere in the middle. I guarantee you that. After that, Giants are 4,700. That looks to be my favorite pay up option. If I'm paying up, I think I might like the Giants against Indianapolis, 4,700. After that, um, Jacksonville, Jacksonville at Houston, 4,500 seems pretty good. Philly at home against New Orleans is 4,400. That's a nice matchup. This is the one I was talking about. Kansas City has Denver. Kansas City's at home. Kansas City can apply pressure. And I think they cause, like typical defenses, cause more turnovers at home than they do on the road. I'm surprised that Kansas City is down to 4,300. To me, Kansas City is the 46 or 4,700 or higher defense. So if there's anybody that, 43, you're kind of getting to the mid level. But if I don't want to pay up, but I'm still paying over 4,000 for a defense, I think it's Kansas City that I'm going for. After that, we'll go to the mid level. And hey, if Tua doesn't play, best believe I'm jumping on New England for 4,000, right there in the middle at home. And who is my favorite pay down from 4,000 under? Okay, I already said probably who I think my favorite play is. It's New England, especially if Tua doesn't play. But if you're looking for my favorite 39 and lower defense, if Lamar doesn't play, my favorite 39 and lower defense will most likely be Pittsburgh, even though they're on the road. That the team is just a whole lot different without Lamar. Do I have another option? I could say Detroit at 36 at home, but this isn't them playing the Vikings when they beat the Vikings that time. They're going up against a solid running quarterback. Justin Fields by himself could cause problems by himself. So that makes me a little worried, but I still like Detroit as a play. But right now, my favorite play I think is Pittsburgh. Other than that, if you wanna take that risk with them on the road, if you think Brady's washed, I don't mind Carolina at 3,500. And I guess if you want to take a wild risk because they have been playing hard against like the upper echelon teams, like they've been really going at the heavyweights of the league, the Cowboys, the Chiefs. They're going up against a good team, not one of those heavyweights. So if you want to play that narrative and the way they've been playing, if you watched them the last 2 weeks, going down to 3,100 Houston at home against Jacksonville is not a bad idea. Because look how they played against you hate the Cowboys, you hate the Cowboys. That's on you. If you're sick and tired of Mahomes, you're sick and tired of Mahomes. That's on you. But those are still two of the most powerful and most, explosive offenses in the league. And look how well Houston did against them. So that's the risk there, but I think it's a nice risk. Would I be heavy on it? No. But would I be doing for a few lineups? Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, under 4,000 right now, my favorite player I think is Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh with no Lamar. If Lamar plays, I guess I'll drop down and I'll think about if no Lamar, I guess you could say Detroit. I guess you could say Detroit against Chicago, I guess. That'll be it. But, Well, just giving you the options. You know, I like to give you the high plays and low plays or whatever. But hey, week 17, grade A fantasy. Remember, people, even in my league that I'm running, all I did was set it. All I could do, you're limited to certain options. Sunday main, Saturday main. Sunday main, FanDuel has an system that they're including the 8 o'clock game. So guess what? My league has the 8 o'clock game. So people, if you're watching this, remember the 8:20 game is included in the main slate. It is not just a sweat from 1 to 7, 7:30. You will be sweating your football lineup all day, especially if you end up picking one of those defenses or like have a one-off, or if you decide to take a risk and stack maybe Kenny Pickett and have Deontay Johnson or the other wide receiver or Fry move. All right. So just remember, no more buys, 13 games, all day Sunday. All right? Grade A Fantasy, week 17. Good luck this week.